Bonjour. We are going to continue our little talk about adjectives, and today we're going to talk a little bit about where they're placed. French adjectives are usually placed after the noun they modify when they don't directly follow a form of être. So let me show you what I'm talking about. When we're talking about they're brilliant students, we would say ce sont des étudiantes. Notice how the word students comes first. Brilliant comes later. And the reason that we do this is we need to know what we're saying first, what we're describing, before we can describe it. And that's how we know later, if we're going word by word, then we're going to know here we have a word that is feminine and plural. So we need to know that our adjective is going to be feminine and plural as well. We could say about them, as we've learned in the past, maybe that les étudiants, the students, are brilliant, in which case we would use our old way, and that's all we're saying here, les étudiantes sont. And you notice here, the word brillante is following the form of être, this word sont right here. But if we're saying they are brilliant students, and we have to change the placement and we put our adjective after the noun. Look at as we talk about Bernard. We would say Bernard est un homme agréable et poli. So we are going to practice this with an activity we've already used from our book. If you look at activité numéro 1, what you had to do was take what Olivier was saying. He's bragging about himself, but his younger sisters, Stéphanie and Estelle, believe that they possess the same attributes. So this is what they will say. In the modèle, he says, Je suis amusant. And the girls say, Nous aussi, nous sommes amusantes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the answers that they give for all of these, and we're going to talk about them. And instead, we're going to talk about Olivier, and we're going to say that he's a funny boy. And then we would say about them, they are funny girls. So for instance, let's look at the modèle. About Olivier, we would say, c'est un garçon amusant. And do you see what we did here? We put the word amusant, funny, after the word garçon. Now let's talk about Stéphanie and Estelle. We don't have to write Stéphanie and Estelle for every example that we do. We can shorten this, and the word for they, for Stéphanie and Estelle, for two girls is elles, right? So what we could say is, instead of saying elles sont, we would say that they are, or those are, funny girls. So we would say, ce sont des filles. Now look at this. We have des filles, those are girls, amusantes. So now in your notes, you're going to practice with the rest of these 6 examples. You're going to write a total of 12 sentences describing all 3 of these people, just like we did right here with the modèle. So what I want you to do is practice this. You're going to pause the video, and then when you're ready, you're going to view the answers. Okay, here are our answers here. So we have c'est un garçon intelligent. And notice how we have intelligent coming after garçon. Ce sont des filles intelligentes. We have the word fille first, and then intelligente agrees. It has the ES because we're talking about girls, and there's more than one. Now, if you look at number 2, the word sincère is one of those few that already ends in an E, and so we don't have to add another E here. The same thing happens with sociable. We only add the S because the is already there. Hope you did okay with this, and we're going to practice more of this in class. Merci beaucoup et au revoir.